This is the problem about doing an interview on the fly. Not set up for this. Okay, I'll try.
Hello, hello.
Hello, I hear you.
Nice.
Do you hear me?
I do, yeah.
All right. For some reason, okay, we're just gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way, and then I have to hide this one. We're just gonna do it like this. Unfortunately, there's no branding, but it doesn't work. I don't want to waste too much of your time. Congrats, champ. Well done.
Well, there are logos on the shirt anyway, so there's branding.
Yeah.
But thank you.
How do we feel after 13 ZVPs in a row?
Tiring experience, but at the same time, when I'm winning, I don't mind CVP.
Okay. How did you feel after that first game went for 50 minutes? Did you think like, oh my god, if this happens like 6 times today, like how on earth am I going to survive all of this?
Well, yeah and no. At the same time, I kind of knew that the other maps probably wouldn't go that long because I tried to finish them somewhat fast. But obviously, King's Cove is pretty hard to finish a game on, so that can go pretty late if he gets a little bit passive. But generally speaking, I wasn't too worried. Obviously, it wasn't impossible that there was gonna be a couple extra late games, but at the same time, I think I can do somewhat well against Max Pax in late game. I still have a winning record against him there.
That's fair enough. Starting this day, you knew that you were in the top 3. It was you and 2 Protoss players. There's been a lot of talk lately about the state of ZVP. Some people say that it's borderline impossible. The other ones say they need to see more. Some still believe that Zerg is very powerful. How was the confidence coming into the final day of the Masters Coliseum? You obviously won the 6th and the 7th, so you're kind of defending your title. Did you think you were going to go all the way again?
I wasn't sure. I did lose to both of the players I beat today before already, so I wasn't sure. But at the same time, I do think I improved every series, even from the big frame boats match I had with Max Pax. I think I improved to the Masters Coliseum match that I lost, and then I improved again here. So I did think I have a good chance. But I was a little bit worried. I do think if they get like a very stable position with like Immortal Tempest, it's very hard. But luckily I was able to keep the pressure on and make it at least a little bit hard on them.
I mean, you've been playing this game for ultra long on the highest level. I'm sure some people are wondering, how do you improve then in even a relatively short time, right? It's only been 9 days since all those series have been played. You've been playing this game for years. Your mechanics are obviously great, but that's not necessarily going to get better. So how do you improve in such a short time? What do you learn the most from?
Well, mainly to strategies, right? And well, stylistic choices is the big difference. I don't think I massively got mechanically better or anything. Maybe I played a little bit better today. That's possible. But for the most part, I think I chose better strategies this time, and it worked out nicely.
Fair enough. There's obviously a lot of people in the chat, and they have a lot of questions for you, and I'll definitely address quite a few of them, but just want to go over a couple of the games. The best of 7 over Max. Obviously, only Whispers of Gold did not go your way. He had really good defense in the main against all the drop lords, but outside of that, it felt that you had a really good read on most of the games. You were just ready for it. Is there anything that really stood out for you in the first best of 7 that you would like to talk about?
No, I don't think there was anything very special there. Most of the games were pretty straightforward. Obviously, the first one did go all the way, and it was very iffy at moments, I feel like. He could have won that if he played it a little bit better. But besides that, I feel like most of them went my way. I actually don't even remember what's one of the games I won, because I won on El Dorado. Yeah, that map. Well, yeah, I guess El Dorado as well. That was a little bit rough.
Yeah,
because I feel like I got like, I got the first Nexus, and I thought that I'd be in a really good spot, but I don't know, I couldn't really get anything done with the follow-ups, and then the bad drop in the main as well, losing like 7 lurkers or whatever, and it was a little bit iffy for sure. I think if I just went for the 4th base with my first lurkers, pushed there, it would have probably been easier. But yeah, could have done some changes to my play for sure.
I did think you played amazing on Eldorado, though. Like, after it got a bit scrappy, it felt like you were everywhere. It was really peak Yona. All the burrows on burrows, the movement of the burrowed units, splitting them up immediately, presenting different problems, obviously capitalizing on every mistake. Like the Tempest, for instance, at one point, they were a bit exposed. You sent the Corruptors on top of it. I thought you were amazing that game.
Yeah, I think after that failed drop, it went very well after that. But I think with like if I played good after killing the Nexus, I don't think the game would have lasted more than 5 minutes. But yeah, after the failed drop, I started not dropping so much and just pushing the frontal locations more. Also, one of the adjustments I made was to add some infestors so I can catch up the iron, because I feel like every time in the past series, I was always the same. I was chasing storms and then I was just losing all my lurker corruptors. So the couple infestors added there worked out really nicely.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's talk a little bit about the grand finals, because obviously it had a bit of everything. It started off on, I'm taking a look at the map order because it's been such a long day, on a Neon Violet Square. It felt that was the game where you were chasing a lot through the Neon Violets, right? Like there was a lot of battling with Lynx, Roaches, Banes stuck in the squares, or am I mistaken right now? Am I thinking of the wrong game?
Well, I guess a couple of times, but I think I felt very confident after the Mutas did a good job. Before that, I actually didn't like my position too much, just because I was throwing up really slowly, and he had a pretty good echo, but the Mutas completely blindsided him, so it was a pretty comfortable position after that, since he couldn't really do a nice transition anymore, and I just went for my links and upgraded them well, so the Stalkers were kinda useless for the most part.
On Abyssal Reef, I thought you were in serious trouble after your attack on the 4th base did not work. He had a bunch of carriers out already, he had +1 ready, +2 was on the way, he had double Cybercore. You tried to break him, you didn't break him. How concerned were you?
Well, I was pretty concerned, just because the carrier I wasn't able to reduce the carrier count by too much. I still think he had like 6 after my attack or something. So it was a little bit worrying for sure. But after I maxed out, I started getting pretty confident again, just because it was basically mass carriers, and I'm very, very good against that late game style. So he did almost get me at the one point when I lost both of my Vipers, and I think I probably had 2 little Corruptors. But besides that, I was pretty comfortable after maxing out. But yeah, the attack didn't really work as I wanted to. I was kind of expecting him to do a crown switch, so I was a bit too roach heavy there, and that didn't really end up working out too well. And I think I also should have added more queens there, like 4 queens, and probably like a carapace upgrade for that push. But yeah, I misread the follow-up.
That's fair enough. The first map that he was able to win was Eldorado. He got you with something very cheeky, very clever, I'm sure. What a lot of pro gamers do is once the game ends, they take a look at the replay, right, and see where did that all come from. I guess that just completely caught you by surprise, and that's something you didn't expect. The proxy gate on your side of the map, the safe bottom, and all the adepts.
Well, actually, he did exactly the same build against me on EWC when I played Gasless there as well. So I was kind of expecting Claves. The game was looking like it was Claves, but I didn't expect the gateway. So I had like links everywhere checking for all the paths. But yeah, 15 adepts in my base without me knowing is pretty rough.
And then Ultra Love, it's not quite the same, but he surprised you with a lot of Zealots. Obviously, he had a low probe count. I kept a very close eye on your production tab, and at one point you fired up a Roach, and I was like, if we keep building Roaches now, we're fine. But then the game of drones took over, and you fired up a lot of extra drones. Where did it go wrong for you there? What did you see? Why did you think it was safe to go so heavy on the drones?
Well, that's the thing. I didn't really see much. But yeah, I mean, I don't exactly remember. I think a lot of the 3 games I lost were very similar for the most part. That I think I had like melee. Well, actually, I didn't have melee on that game.
No.
But But yeah, I don't know. It just didn't really have a link checking for the move out, and on top of that, just wasn't really sure what build he was doing, and maybe a little bit flustered after the last game, playing a bit too careful there as well with the safety roaches every here and then throning after when I should have just thrown up before and then made the units. But it's okay. I was surprised how badly I died to the adept build on ley lines as well, just because I don't think. Well, I guess a lot of stuff went wrong that game because they already got to my natural at one point, and then like the status trap completely locked down my third base. So I guess there was some stuff going wrong in that game, but I was still a bit surprised.
Yeah, you looked a bit annoyed after the Zealous on Ultra Love. Like I felt that the first one you could kind of shake off. You're like, okay, that's silly, but it felt like once the Zealous got in, and obviously it's been a long day already. It felt like that got to you a little.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess that's that's the Zealot build he used actually in the last Master. I don't remember what's the last Master's Coliseum. He was beating every circuit with that thread, like the mass Zealot thing. But yeah, I didn't really have it on my radar right now, so it got me off guard a little bit. And I mean, my build order matchup was pretty good there since I was going roaches, but I was also building some links and stuff there in case it was stalkers. So I mean, if I just made like every link I made was roaches, then probably would have been fine. But you just kind of need to see those things coming.
Before we go into the viewer questions, a final question about the last game, Amygdala. Thought it was very exciting because at one point I was actually kind of feeling his position a little bit more than yours. He switched things up. He went for a quick robo, obviously made Blinkstalkers later. You did have Mutas, but by the time that you had Mutas, he had Blinkstalkers. You had to worry about Immortals, Archons, Colossus, your Lartech Zerg. It felt to me that you were in trouble. How did you experience your tournament winning final map?
Yeah, well, again, I wasn't really sure what was coming at all, so I feel like I was playing a little bit all around there, and that's why it was a little bit close. I do think if I would have gotten like Roger bailing, it kind of beats that comp, but he managed to push before my bailing speed was done. So I was basically just mass Roger Avatar, so it was a little bit hard, but I got also the one Colossus mid-map at one point, and I think that was probably one of the crucial things there. If that didn't happen, there's a good chance I would have lost there.
All right, well, congrats, mate. I thought the games were awesome. I have already seen a lot of fan questions, but obviously I've missed some now. The first one, and that has been asked a lot, is why the 2021 COVID era green screen? Where are the trophies, Jonah? What are we hiding?
We are hiding everything here.
Yeah? Why? What are we hiding?
Isn't it nice to have a dull background?
It is beautiful, but people wonder why. Where did the trophies go?
The trophies didn't go anywhere.
No, still same room?
Yeah, it's still the same room.
All right. Just kind of felt like bringing it back.
Yeah. So people don't talk about how tiny the door is always.
Tiny the door? Okay. All right, fair enough. Second question. I think I know the answer to this, but people still want to know, who do you think is your hardest opponent right now? We're, of course, not done yet with high-level StarCraft. We still have the Lulu Cup. You're in the playoffs. You're going to open your playoff run there against your teammate, Reynor, who you also played here in Masters Coliseum. But, okay, maybe it was split in two parts. Who was the hardest opponent in Masters Coliseum, and who do you think is your hardest opponent overall?
Well, I don't know. It's a hard question, but I mean, in Masters Coliseum, I think Hero and Max Pax were equally difficult for me, and I also think the series against Reynor was a little bit tough, but he played 2 games pros, so I got a little bit of a head start there. But I guess, yeah, Hero and Max Pax matches were the toughest ones. And generally speaking, still has to be Clem, I guess. But yeah, I mean, all the top 3 European, Clem, Reynor, and Max Pax are very rough, and then Hero is very good as well. But I always am a little bit more confident against Hero than I'm against like Reynor or Clem usually. I don't know where that comes from, but that's just how it goes.
All right. Question: is Mass Tempest the hardest style to play against in ZVP late game, or is there something else that you think is even more difficult or more frustrating to play against?
Well, mass Tempest doesn't sound that dangerous.
It's Switchhead, eh, Jona? It's not me.
Yeah, you can. I think Raptors can beat Mass Tempest, but when there's like, the crowned army with like 6-7 Tempest, it's very hard, and I don't really have a solution for it. I do think if I have a very good late game setup, my usual setup with Altetech, Broodlord Lurker, Ultra, Corruptor, Viper, Infestor, then I can somewhat play it. But it's very hard, just because, well, if the map has like if the map has difficult bases, then you just can't really expand, and you kind of just get outmined usually. But yeah, the Tempests are pretty annoying.
Another question. This one's from Muxor, and I actually kind of like it because Reynor was on the microphone the other day when you were playing against Australia, and Reynor said he thinks Mudas are ass, Mudas are bait. How do you feel about Mudas overall in ZVP? Is it a gimmick, or is it actually pretty good to throw in from time to time?
I guess it's not. Mutas are like, they're okay usually. I mean, the mass Muta style sometimes works. And that's, I guess, more of a committed Muta style. I mean, that's just hit or miss. But if you just play 10 Mutas into normal stuff, it's usually pretty good. The only problem is that the Mutas don't really win you the game usually. It just makes the game last a little bit longer, and pros will usually get their good army up. So I think if you play like Muta into Lurker or Muta into Bailing, you just have to be ready for the late game usually, and that's not really what people want right now. So that's why they're not seen so much, but they have their moments for sure.
Another question that was asked earlier, but you already kind of covered it a little, is what was your take on the Reynor Protoss? Because in the past, Reynor's Protoss has been pretty gnarly in PvZ. But earlier here, you said you felt like you had a head start in this series because he played Protoss. So what was your take on him playing Protoss in those two games?
Well, I could tell he hasn't practiced pros too much lately. But I mean, it's just I played just an all-in in the first game, and he didn't really. I think his build wasn't too good against it, and that's that. And the second game, I just had all the reads, and yeah, he just kept making more Phoenixes, just playing like a rotty game there. So
hey,
it didn't end up working.
Nothing wrong with that, Jona.
Yeah, I mean, if he just goes Archons or something there, it's like after the 8 first Phoenixes. I guess he didn't know damage, so maybe it's not that good for him. And I guess it's hard anyways. But yeah, those weren't really normal games. He played like very specific builds. His strength usually is in the longer games when he gets a good eco and somewhat of good army with storms. That's usually where he shines. But yeah, those games didn't really go that long.
All right, I've got 2 more generic StarCraft questions, and then I have 1 or 2 other questions. I'm just making some notes for myself. The first question was, I think earlier from Vonderu. How do you stay motivated in this era where a lot of the StarCraft community and all the players and fans are waiting for a big announcement for 2025? We, of course, have stuff to look forward to. Our Home Story Cup, Staras Agora. We have 2 big online tournaments in January. You won the first. The second one is coming up. But, you know, how do you still find practice? How do you motivate yourself to really give it your all in these quote-unquote uncertain times?
Well, it makes it a little bit harder for sure, not knowing what's coming. But I mean, if there's anything coming, and I do usually want to win and not lose. So just preventing those losses is what motivates me.
I love
Doesn't matter what the match is.
I think that's great, Jonah. That is great. That is great motivation, mate. That's all you need. All right, the last question. It's maybe a tiny bit boring, but people still love hearing it, especially from the man who just won the first big online tournament of the year. What's your overall take on balance right now? Since people always talk about balance, and I don't think you care too much about TVP, but maybe you've got something to say about it, but mostly from the Zerg point of view, or the overall point of view as a StarCraft 2 fan. A couple months into this patch, map pool, what's your take on all-around balance?
I mean, I don't. I have no clue about TVP. I never play that or don't really watch that much. I only watch the very interesting games usually. But yeah, from Zerg perspective, CVT feels very similar as before. It's just that the maps are nicer. So I don't mind. I think it's pretty nice. Pretty nice for Zerg now. I don't know if that's balanced or better for Zerg, but it doesn't feel too bad. When you play against Clem, it's always hard, but usually everyone else, I feel pretty confident against. So I don't really mind it too much, but CVP does feel a bit annoying. It's you kind of have to win in the mid game usually, or get a lead. It feels like, but I guess if you do some sort of an all-in, then it's probably not too bad. But yeah, it's just, especially for me, it's a little bit hard because I kind of like to play the longer games, and I feel like it's not really the best solution right now. So I would say it's a little bit pros favored. I would say reasonably pros favored. But if you play the mid game well, it's very doable at that point usually.
I like how we went from little to reasonable in the same sentence, but it's all good.
Well,
all right, I've got another question. A long time ago, I think that was organized by the O Gaming crew back then. There was a big 2v2 tournament, and you played it with Oliveira. I think you even ended up winning it, or at least you guys had a very good run. Uthermo announced his big 2v2 circuit. The first one was on the 7th of January, if I recall correctly. The community had a lot of fun, pros, amateurs. I unfortunately did not have a good ally. But a lot of people are wondering, why did you not play, and are you planning on playing in some of the future 2v2 cups by Uthermo?
Well, I was talking with Sugeliang a little bit, and we might do a double Zerg combo and see how bad double Zerg actually is. Or I mean, how good it is. Maybe we figured it out. But yeah, I might play some with him, or maybe some with someone else. But yeah, I guess it's just for fun for me. I wouldn't take that too seriously usually, and it's a bit of a different format. But for fun, I could see myself playing in some of them. But when is the next one even?
Probably
next month?
Yeah, probably somewhere in the beginning of February. I think Uthermo's planning on one big cup a day, and eventually there is a finals as well. The first one, why didn't you play? Did nobody ask you, and did nobody have the courage to ask you out?
No one yet. Nobody. No, actually, I did get one person ask me, but no, well, the reason was that this Masters Coliseum thing was coming, and Liuli Cup was going on, and I was still just coming back from my Christmas holidays. So I wanted to, because I don't remember when I played my first match, but it was like ninth, or something like 8th.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, my Christmas holidays ended like 5th or so. So I had like 4 days to practice and get my rust off. So I just decided that I wanted to focus on the one-on-ones now.
Alrighty. Well, we can expect you in the future to play some 2v2. What if Reynor is asking you to play?
Well, 2 Zergs again. Isn't that garbage?
He could play Protoss.
Sure, he could. And we could play once with him if he wants to at some point.
I think a lot of people would love to see the BASILISK boys team up. But obviously Zhuge would be awesome too. Love Zhuge. All right.
Yeah, we have pretty good chemistry. I think we are like 2v2 experts.
Okay.
So
Well, I'm excited. I'm sure your Thermo's excited too. I love that. Somebody else asked, well, I have two more questions, Jonah, then I'll let you go because I know you've had a mega long day. These games were intense, but two more fun questions. First one is, do you play any other RTS game right now? Because obviously there are a couple other RTS games out there. There were some betas for other RTS games. Anything strategy related that you're playing on the side?
No, not any RTS games.
What are you playing?
Well, I got XCOM 2 from the winter sale, and I've been playing that a little bit now. Okay. That's good. That is a strategy game, so it doesn't go with the RTS, but RTS genre, but still a strategy game.
All right, I love that. And then the last question, mate, unless somebody else has a really important question. Quite a few guys have been asking, can we expect any Yona streams? You've won the first big online tournament of 2025. People love seeing you play a couple games and have some takes. I can maybe steal a voice line or two, gets the people going, you know. Can we expect any Serral streams in the near future?
Yeah, sure. You can always expect all kind of stuff.
Okay. Anything specific or just follow and see?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any date on in my pocket right now, so I can't say that. But yeah, I mean, it is my plan to turn a stream on here at any point, especially now with, well, there's still the League Cup, so I have to finish that. But at the same time, I wouldn't necessarily have to wait for that either. It's just more, I need to be feeling it on that day and then just turn the stream on.
Wednesday, mate. Wednesday, it all continues. You got a couple days to relax. Once more, you're playing against Reynor. Is first round playoffs best of 5 in Lulu Cup as well?
I would imagine so, yeah.
Any expectations for the best of 5 against Reynor? He's in the chat. He's listening.
It's always hard. We'll see if he's gonna play some more pros games. That would be an enjoyable experience for me as well.
Oh, gauntlet dropped. I love it, Yona. All right, mate. I'll give you an opportunity to get some final goodbyes in, some thank yous, some shout outs. You've been battling in this tournament for a long time. You have once more crowned yourself the Masters Coliseum 8 champ. So the floor is yours, mate. Anything you want to share or say to the people?
Well, the usual. Thanks for all the support and for all the people who watched the event. And yeah, especially thanks to BASILISK especially thanks to BASILISK as well for all the support they give us, and it makes it way nicer to play the game for sure when you have someone behind you as well. But yeah, let's just hope they will announce a new season relatively soon.
I hope that's with you, mate. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day. Can't imagine how you feel after all those EVPs, but I guess winning makes everything a little bit more enjoyable and easier, as you said. Take care, Yona. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. That was the champ. You guys wanted an interview. You guys got an interview. Very nice of Serral to take some time out of his day. I would have been completely okay if he said, I'm sorry, mate, I'm not really feeling that right now, because that was a lot. It really was a lot for Yona, but very nice of him to take some time. He's always been so good to the community and to the fans. That was awesome. So we got some 2v2s to look forward to. We got some several streams to look forward to. We get him to look forward to playing some more ZVP against Reynor. I love it.